What's happening, real outdoors enthusiasts? Today's kind of a different video, just with the different things we have going on in our times. I'm doing an EDC specific to the quarantine and the stay-at-home order that we have here in Florida. Seems kind of contradictory, everyday carry along with staying at home. But I noticed that I'm carrying different things now that I'm staying at home and that we have this quarantine going on for the coronavirus. So I figured I'd share kind of an updated EDC. It's really more specific to staying at home and keeping yourself safe from what's going on. So these EDC items are obviously a little different than what I would normally carry with me on a daily basis, just going about my business, traveling around as much as we do, and going outdoors, things like that. So you're always going to carry different items based on what your needs are. And I've noticed that what I carry every day has changed since we've had to stay at home a lot more. Let's jump right into what I'm carrying during this quarantine and talk a little bit about some of the interesting things that I've noticed about what I'm carrying. So we'll start right off with my Olight S1R baton. This is something that is part of my normal everyday carry, but I have found it especially useful during this quarantine. With the stay-at-home order and everyone being at home, we're all sleeping on different schedules, and this has come in real handy in order for me to get up at different times or go to bed at different times and still be able to see what I'm doing without waking the entire house up, waking my wife up, things like that. It's been a real handy tool to have with me during the quarantine. I always have a pen with me. This is just a generic tactical pen. I like tactical pens. I like the way they feel, the way they write. This one is loaded with a Fisher Space Pen refill. I really like the Fisher Space Pen refills and the way they work and the way they write. Other than that, this is just a generic E-Soap is the name brand. I'll put the links down in the description to all this stuff, just like I always do. I think this was 10 or 15 bucks. It's not an expensive tactical pen. Like I said, I just like the way they write and the way they feel. They're heavy, they're solid, have a lot of good grip on them. So I like the tactical pen. It's just good to have a pen with you at all times. This is an REI towel washcloth. I use it as a handkerchief. I really like it. It's super, super soft, really easy to wash and dry on your own, but I love this. It's soft. It doesn't, wear on your nose and face as much. So that's obviously real important to have during a quarantine, so you're not touching your face. You can use a handkerchief if you need to wipe something off your face, or if you get a runny nose. Right now we have a lot of pollen going on. This is pollen season in Florida, so you have allergies and things like that, so it's always good to have a hanky or something like that on hand at all times. Maybe you want to use little packets of Kleenex. Like I said, I like this. I've always carried this with me. It's always come in handy. It's very soft, easy to wash and dry. So that's my little REI hanky that I keep with. Now you can hear that the CDC is recommending some type of face mask. They're saying even a cloth face mask will work. Well, I've always carried buffs with me. So this is my buff that I'm keeping with me in order to use as a face mask when I go out if I feel the need. Face masks have definitely lost some of the stigma that goes along with them. I know when we visited Japan, everyone wears face masks, but that wasn't necessarily the case in the US until this quarantine came about. So now I have a buff that I take with me, and that's what I use as a face mask. I think it's great, especially in Florida. I've always talked about how much I like having a buff, just to keep the sun off your face and your neck, keep the wind and dust out of your nose and mouth and things like that. So it hasn't changed. I always carry a buff with me. Now I just use it for something different. Always got lip balm with me. My lips tend to get dry. The one thing I've noticed that's different about the lip balm with this quarantine is you're inside a lot more. So you're in an air-conditioned environment. That air-conditioned environment tends to be a lot more dry. If I was outside more, especially here in Florida, really wouldn't be an issue because of the humidity. You don't get the chapped lips like you would get, up north in the cold or low humidity environments. But because you're ordered to stay at home or quarantined, you're inside in this air-conditioned environment that's really, really dry. and so the lip balm comes in real handy. I have my earbuds. These are the Jabra Elite 65. I talked about those in other videos. You can check those out for a more detailed review. These I've found really handy for the quarantine to listen to audiobooks, and that's pretty much what I've used them for. Also to watch TV shows in bed. Like I said, we're all home, we're all sleeping on different schedules, so that means I can sit in bed and watch a TV show with my earbuds without disturbing my wife. But I've mainly used them for audiobooks. This is a great time to catch up on reading if you're at home, and audiobooks are a great way to get through some books. So I have my earbuds to listen to my audiobooks. This is a newer thing. It's just a basic nail clipper. I've been carrying it with me all the time. It's really to keep my nails short during this quarantine. You don't want to have long nails that are picking up dirt and germs and things like that and then staying under your nails, and then you're carrying that to your face when you scratch your face, or touching surfaces, things like that. So you want to keep your nails short and clean. Having a nail clipper with you really keeps your nails nice and trim and clean. Instead of carrying like my Leatherman, which is what I normally carry every day, just because I'm at the house, I'm not really going a whole lot of places, I don't need a bunch of tools like the Leatherman. I've just been carrying a basic pocket knife. This is a Kershaw Indian Ford. I actually got this as a groomsman's gift years ago. It's a great knife, super, super sharp, nice and lightweight, easy to carry, so I just throw that in my pocket. And so then I always have that with me. I mean, there's so many uses for a knife. You should always be carrying a knife every day. And then of course I have some additional personal protective equipment, we'll call it. Really self-defense protection. I'm not gonna say exactly what that is. I'm sure you can guess what I'm talking about, but that is still part of my everyday carry, even though I'm at home. More especially during a quarantine, people tend to get a little out of control, or a little cabin fever, or desperate because of what's happening with our economy, and I always want to have that protection with me, even when I'm at home. You never know when something might happen. Someone might try and break into the house, into your yard, into your cars, things like that. So I still do carry every day that additional personal protective equipment. So, and that's pretty much it. It's not too elaborate, not too crazy. It's just a few items, but I noticed that, like I've always carried the buff, but now I have a different reason for it. The fingernail clippers, a regular pocket knife instead of my Leatherman that I normally carry. Things that I've added uses for or added new items due to this quarantine. And I figured I'd share that with you. Maybe you'll get something out of it. Maybe you've realized that there's something you need to add to your EDC. Hopefully it helped. It's definitely made things more comfortable, more easy while we're staying at home. Don't forget to click that like button and the red subscribe button. And as part of that, click the little notification bell so that you know when I'm coming out with new content. I'm going to try and come out with content on a more consistent basis so that you know when it's going to be there. I'm going to shoot for Wednesday evening once a week, and that's when I'll come out with my new videos. Hopefully that works for you guys. If there's a different time that you'd like to see content from The Real Outdoors, throw that down in the comments and let me know. That's it for today's video, just a quick little update of my EDC for the quarantine we have going on right now. I look forward to seeing you in The Real Outdoors.